In 2021, I went from being a complete unknown actor to booking my first role in Stranger Things 4 as number 2, bullying children. And I'm constantly asked questions like, how did I even get the audition? What was it like meeting all of the other actors? What can I do to improve my own chances to book an audition like this? Today, I'm gonna go ahead and answer all of your questions for once and for all about the audition process all the way up to the death threats that I received when the show released. Starting with the most important question I need to answer, why do I keep milking the out of my role in Stranger Things? Because this is educational acting content. The only way for people to know I'm worth listening to is to see that I have credits to my name. Why would they just listen to random Joe Schmo who's never booked a single role about how to advance their acting career? And because I will get those comments that perfectly pinpoint my greatest insecurity, the last thing I want to do is ever talk about Stranger Things again. Even this video, I have to swallow my pride, not care that, yes, it seems as though I'm constantly bringing this up, even though I have to, and just trust that I'm a good enough actor to eventually be in a place where I don't reference it at all. I remember it took me 4 hours to film it because it just wasn't going the way I wanted it to.
Tell the teacher that we did this. We will kill you.
And I thought there was a 0% chance that I was gonna book it. I thought it sucked. And lo and behold, within a week, I got a call from my agent that I was pinned, which basically means it's down to you and 4 or 5 other actors. And then the next day, I got the call that I had full out booked it. And within a week, I was flown out to Atlanta. All expenses paid. They pay for the flight, they pay for the hotel. When I checked in at the hotel, I saw that Tyler Perry had paid for it. I guess some way he's responsible for producing the show, which I didn't know. Instead of traditional hotel rooms, they're more like 1-bedroom apartments. So you have a full kitchen, you have a full stove, full-size fridge and freezer that you can store all of your food in. You really do feel like you're living the life you just moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. They didn't send me any scripts until the first or second day of my quarantine. They only send you specifically the scenes that you're involved in. So I didn't know anything that happened at all outside of the Hawkins lab. Now, did I actually shave my head for the role? Of course, absolutely. Despite having no hair, I spent way more time in the hair trailer than I did the makeup trailer. My hair was so light, they actually had to darken it every day with this temporary powder because otherwise it was like a giant reflector coming off my head. And then when I went to the makeup trailer, because they wanted it to feel natural and raw, they didn't want to give any of the kids like full out foundation. So instead of having a full makeup look, they just had this green cream that made us not only look really pale, but kind of neutralized redness. Then on day 6, was my wardrobe and hair day, and essentially that's when they fit me for my hospital gown, they took all my measurements, and then I went to the hair trailer, got my very first buzz cut. And I actually have a before and after photo that we can probably put on the screen right here. It was actually extremely painful because they did really tattoo every single kid on set. I'm kidding. It was basically like one of those temporary tattoos. So if you've ever put like one of those butterfly tattoos on your neck as a child, it was basically just that. They didn't require us to wash it off at the end of the day. Like I remember I would just be walking to Target and have my number 2 tattoo on just for fun. I actually did get caught by paparazzi. I remember there was a photo of me on set that went semi-viral on Instagram. Most people thought it was like Charlie Heaton or something like that, who plays Jonathan. It was during the pandemic, so we had the masks on, so you couldn't actually see my face. And of course, they all thought it would be this like super famous actor, and it just happened to be me. That was funny to see that go viral and have people think I was way more famous than I actually was. The cast was awesome. It makes me feel like I'm some T-drama channel be like, ooh, this is the juicy details about what these celebrities are actually like. They're normal people, guys. Obviously, we can start with Millie because that's what everyone wants to know. And we already made a video on this, so if you want me to go more in depth about it, you can watch the other video on our channel. She was very sweet. I think that there were many lessons that I learned from her about specifically getting the stakes of the scene into your body, because a lot of actors are like purely focused on the facial expressions and kind of how they're delivering their lines, and then they don't care about their body and how their body is also adding on top of that for the performance. She remembered pretty much everyone's name. I remember in between takes, she would just play with the other little numbers in the rainbow room, like build blocks and talk with them. And just overall, she was very like approachable, very kind, and very professional, honestly. Matthew Modine is still to this day the best scene partner I've ever had. There are so many ways where when he wasn't on camera, he was pushing me to be my best. And obviously he's a legend, he's an icon, so he was super professional, very kind. There's no person I'm gonna talk about in a negative way, not because I'm like not trying to get canceled, but because genuinely everyone on that set is just very nice. There's no one that hates their job. Everyone knows that they're part of something special, and it goes with all of the crew, all of the cast, everyone. Matthew also was just getting into photography while on set, so he would randomly just take different photos of people on set with their permission, not like just like a paparazzi. He posted a couple of them on his social media page, I think. He's very much so someone that goes by the beat of their own drum. Jamie, the only extent of which I full out worked with him was when he was destroying me on the wall, right? And he was so dialed in. What I specifically loved about Jamie, he didn't have a ton of lines in our scenes together, but he still gave me something to play off of. In my electrocution scene, even though he didn't say anything, even when he wasn't on camera, he was giving me these death eyes that I could tangibly feel. None of us knew who number one was until obviously the day of the massacre. So there were all of these theories on who would actually be number one. All of us had these like fan thoughts, but I kind of had an inkling that he was gonna be number one relatively early on, purely because on the call sheet, he was called Friendly Orderly. And he rarely had lines in the scenes. And I was like, there's no way in hell you're getting Jamie Campbell Bower to play Friendly Orderly without any lines. All of our other like little numbers, most of us, this was like our first major on-set experience. And so obviously there's this incredible excitement, and we really tried our best to see each other as actual siblings. We keep in touch every now and then. I recently had Sparrow, who was number 4, come speak to all my students in the acting lab, which if y'all want more information on, you can look at the link in the description. I, being pretty much the only number over 18, was always saved for last, which is why I got paid more than I originally was supposed to, is because I got a lot of overtime because I frequently would be on set for 16 hours. I remember all of the kids were wrapped while I was in the middle of filming my scene, and so I didn't get to say goodbye to a lot of them. And some of them, they were very sweet. They had like left gifts with the production assistants to pass off to me after I finished my scene, and that was just so sweet. I think my last day on set was the electrocution scene. All of the other kids weren't on camera, so they were wrapped. It was basically me and Matthew alone in the room when I was actually doing that scene, with I think Sparrow and Morgan, since they were technically right next to me. All the other kids were wrapped, and as I was getting electrocuted, they were all leaving, and I ended up not being able to say goodbye to them. It was so weird because they were so secretive about the existence of all of the numbers in the flashbacks. I was not allowed to say anything about the show until the exact day that the show premiered and came out. So not only was I having to hold on to this secret for a crazy amount of time, of course, with it being the first major thing I'd ever done, was excruciating, because any actor knows the pressure of people that know that they're an actor constantly asking, well, what's next? Is there anything you've done that I would know you from? And being able to have that, like, no, I've actually worked professionally, finally able to be like part of an answer to give to that. But I remember just being ready to finally show people, look, I've made money as it. I'm actually a professional. There are real projects I've been a part of. It was very difficult. When it did finally come out, It was such a whirlwind of emotions. Most of the first reactions to it were extremely positive. I remember I skyrocketed within a week to 100,000 followers on Instagram. And that's so many eyes that I kind of knew might be coming. Also, I knew I was an unlikable character. For whatever reason, I thought the electrocution scene would make him seem like more redeemable. So I remember being surprised by just how much he was hated. People were not able to separate me, Tristan, from the character too. And so I had a lot of people saying very violent things to me. There were people that told me I deserved to kill myself, I should commit suicide, I was a terrible person, and all of these like really brutal stuff that had nothing to do with me, the actor, but were thrown at me as the actor, not at my character. And this is why I was very grateful that I was the one cast in this role, not a younger actor under 18, because I think an actor under 18 would have an extremely difficult time navigating that much like violent comments being thrown at them. I hope all of this answers your burning questions, and if you'd love to know more about my acting process, then go check out this video where I break down the 3 auditions that I have booked. And you know what? You shouldn't be wandering the YouTube channel. Go click that right now, or I'm gonna tell Papa, and he'll make sure that you get just as electrocuted as I was.